Hello to everyone. I'm Andrea Menghini from GeoMax Support and Training Team, and welcome to the Data Integration Bootcamp. Today, together, we will have a look on the second webinar, so the webinar dedicated to the XScan module. We will integrate the topographic data used last time with also data scan from the BLK 360 laser scanning. And then in the next webinar, we will see together another module, so the X-Photon module, so the photogrammetry module from XPath Office Fusion with the aerial and terrestrial module. And then in the last webinar, we will have a quick summarize of all this webinar, plus also we will perform together some application. We will also use some other tools from the XPath Office Fusion software. So about the today webinar's topics, we will start a quick introduction about the project. So just to have an overview about the project, I will show you also how to find the 365 application. So the new service from GeoMax. We will see together the XScan bootcamp. So we will perform the registration using the cloud module. Plus, we will see together how to draw on point clouds, also how to create some report and some other functionalities. Then we will close this webinar with a quickly overview about the XScan module strengths. So about the Data Integration Bootcamp project, this project is a webinar series dedicated to XPath Office Fusion software. So we are showing you how to summarize, how to include to use this software as a unique solution to integrate and manage the different data from different sources. Also to an overview about the specific modules of the software, with also a guide on how to do it. You can also use the same data that we are showing you. So the data set plus also the PDF guide and also the video of the registration of the webinar registration. So with this webinar series, we will cover most of the main topics, but also we will give you some tricks and tips on how to use and how to become an advanced user of XPath Office Fusion software. In particularly, with this project, we are using data coming from Ultimate Software, so our field software solution with the GNSS receiver, so the Zenith 40 and Zenith 35 Pro, Zoom 90, so the TPS, the robot TPS, scanner data from BLK 360, drone data from DJI drone, plus also Canon reflex camera for the terrestrial photogrammetry. Thanks to this solution, so to this software, we can create also some outputs that maybe you need to share with the customers. So maybe you need to create some reports. So just to show you some example, we can create drawing formats, and then we can export using the XF or DWG formats. We can create PDF 3D, so to quickly visualize also with a simple PDF viewer the data that we already created. We can, of course, create different reports, create the orthophotos, so to integrate also some other drawing formats, drawing data. We can, of course, publish and create some other reports and output for the point clouds data, plus also the OBJ files, so the 3D formats, for example, for the surfaces of the mesh. What is included in this database that you can find of the XPath 365 platform? For all the data set, you can find a guide on how to do so the step-by-step guide for all the different projects, for the different webinars. You can find the data used during the webinars, plus also the export that we performed together. And then you can also try again using the video or using the guide. Okay, just an overview on how to find this data. I will directly open our GeoMax website. So this is the main website page. Here you can find the XPath 365 page. And of course, you have also the introduction on these services. Plus, also you can directly try subscribe and try the XPath 365. Then from XPath 365 dashboard, you can move to your sources, and from the Virtual Training Academy sources, you can find different guides related to the different software, so the field software, the office software. You can use also the tags to directly find some specific guide or video guide. And from the Data Integration Bootcamp search, now you can find only the topo. At the end of this presentation, you will find another row with a Xscan dataset on which you can find the PDF plus the data used for the current video, so the current webinar. So let's move back to the presentation. So we will use data from as I already said, data from the BLK. On the dataset, you can directly find the GFDOFF data, so the XPath Office Fusion format. And this is the introduction about the current project, so the scanner project. So as you already seen in the previous webinar, the dataset was carried out at Sheraton Golf Hotel in Roma. So, and for this specific project, we used the BLK 360 laser scanner mounted on a Manfrotto 055 tripod. So a tripod with a more or less 15 kilos that you can also use also higher laser scanning. About the building information, the building has an approximative height about 17 meters. The higher windows is about 14 meters, and a medium scanner height, so is mounted on a tripod. So the medium scanner height is the height of the scanner mounted on tripod was about 1.5 meter, 1.6 meter. So consider the height of the higher windows of the facade. We decided to use a maximum laser scanner incidence about 60 degrees. So we already studied some before already project how to perform these scans, which correspond an horizontal distance about 89 meters from the facade, with an inclined distance about 70 meters from the higher windows. So regarding the BLK, so the pure scanner resolution, we have for 3 different settings that we can set also from the data BLK Data Manager app, so the free app from Windows. Fast scan, standard scan, and hide scan. And here is the resolution, grid resolution at 10 meters, and also the timing to perform this scan. So considering the building information that I just showed you, and the distance, so the tilt distance from the higher windows, so 17 meters, we used the maximum resolution, so the high density resolution, which correspond to 10 millimeters with a grid of the 20 meters. Then another possibility that we have that we can set for the laser scanning is the possibility also to acquire some photos with 2 different types of photos. Without high dynamic range photo, so the scanning time, and so the photography time is about 1 minute, using and the best resolution for the photos, so high dynamic range for the photos, the acquisition time for the photos is about 2.5 minutes. But considering the cloudy condition of the weather in that specific day, we decide to use the low dynamic range, so without the high dynamic range, so only 1 minute acquisition during the scanning time. We will see together in this webinar how to visualize the data, how to also to manage the scanning data, so how to register and how to create some drawing and report directly on the scanning data. And then at the end, what we can create from this data is a CAD files, so DWG or DXI file for the drawing, for the points, and also to combine it together, PDF, 3D PDF export, plus also the reports for the topographic points or for the drawing. Let's move directly to the XPath Office Fusion software. So this is the data set that you can find from the XPath 365 platform. So with the TPS and GNSS data using in the last webinar, let me switch off directly from the project manager the topographic data, and here are the scan data. So we performed 8 scans around the let me say the hotel pool area, so just between the hotel and the golf court. Okay, what we can do to start the scans registration, since we have too many points used for TPS and for GNSS, we can directly move to survey and open the topography points table. Okay, here you can find the entire list of the points. So we already measured 1,671 points. So we can list the point using the name or using also the filters. And now we will copy part of this point in the reference point list. So for example, targets from drone. You can directly use the right click of the mouse and select copy, or with the keyboard Ctrl+C to copy the points. Then from survey menu, here we have the reference point table, and we can directly select right click paste or Ctrl+V to copy the points. So, and now in the graphic view, we can already see the points. Then we can move back to the topographic point list, and we can select yes. So, okay, which are the targets measured from the TPS, so the total station. We can directly select all the points and again copy and paste. Sorry. Okay, this is not varied. Not in the same cell. Okay. Copy and paste. So we already copied 29 points that we will use as a reference point for the scanning. So how we can perform the scans without exactly know the position of the targets? From the guide that you can find in the 365 platform, you can find also the guide, the step-to-step guide, and here you can find of course the general presentation and all you can where you can find the other Virtual Training Academy data set, and here from the step-to-step guide, all the steps that we will perform in this webinar, plus also regarding each scans exactly targets that we will use during this webinar. Okay, so let's, I will directly hide all the scans and use only one scan. How we can increase or reduce the scans point visualization. Here we can find the points cloud settings. If I directly click on it, this is the maximum point to visualize it in the graphic view. So 100 millions is the maximum resolution. I can also decrease to 20 millions, and now you can find here that the maximum resolution is 20 millions point. Then, of course, we have the tools to visualize in 2D and zoom in, or in 3D and orbit around the area. And then from cloud menu, all the tools related to the point clouds managing and visualization. 3 different registration mode, cloud to cloud. So it means that in that case, we will use 2 different point clouds and directly and manually find 3 common points to merge the 2 point clouds, to align the 2 point clouds. Targets point that we will use in that case to register, to manually select the targets and automatically register by the positioning of the targets. And automatic registration is another tools that you can use if you have a good overlapping between the point clouds. You can select a reference point cloud or more reference point clouds, and then automatically align to this specific point clouds other point clouds that you already measured. That's to give an example. The reference point clouds, for example, could be the first point cloud of, let me say, a traverse scanning project, or the reference point cloud of a central scanning project. And then, for example, the software automatically suggests you to use or not use the target. So if the target has already used during the scans project, or some other tools that some others information that you can select if, for example, the scans environment is architectural, urban, or terrain mining. Speed and accuracy, so 3 different options, so 3 different algorithm calculation depending on how fast and how accurate you want to register. You want to find the common points, the type points, and then register the scans. Maximum number of scans connected together. So, for example, if the reference scan is a central scan, you can also select more than 4. Or if, for example, the reference scan, so each reference scan is a linear sequence, for example, you can reduce if you have less point clouds connected together. If the scans are measured, are acquired on a tripod, if they have a closed sequence, like for example a traverse, closed traverse, if the scans are vertical, so in that case we can assign this parameter, we can flap, we can use the flap if the adjustment is already performed by the scanner. And then the bundle adjustment that you can find also here, which is an automatic refinement of the point clouds of the pre-registration. So after the pre-registration, you can also use the bundle adjustment to refine the scans at registration. And also here you can use advanced setting or 3 different settings based on the point clouds overlapping. We will move back to the registration. In that case, I just want to show you how we can manage, how we can change the rendering, the visualization of the point clouds. So from the rendering menu, we can assign different size to the single points of the point clouds. So if I zoom in, this is the size of each point of the point clouds, and different visualization method. Sorry, I'll move it to another menu. Different visualization method. Colors, it means that for each scan we have the different colorization. So basically the colorization that you can find here and that you can modify from the properties. just want to give you an example of the properties. So now the only scans that we can visualize is the scan number 2. It's also not aligned. We can open the properties and select maybe different colorization using the colors palette. Let me select, for example, violet. And then if we change the colorization will be changed according to the scans colorization that you can find here and that you can modify from the properties menu. Okay, now it's calculating the colors for each scan, even if the scans are not exactly visible. And then I can just show you that also we have some other parameters that we can change for the colorization. So I just want to show you the different colorization method from the steps to steps guide. Colors, it means that we can select different colors for each point clouds. Intensity is based colorization based on the intensity, so on the scanner properties. And intensity colored, so is a mix visualization, mixed colorization, which is based on the intensity plus also the colors of each laser scanning. True colors is the colorization that you can use from the photos acquired from laser scanning. So you can also use external photography, external rectangular, so 360-degree photos to recolorize the point clouds in case the scanning data are only monochromatic. By elevation, so from the minimum elevation to the maximum elevation, we will have different colorization. By distance, from the center of the point clouds to the farthest point, normals is a different colorization based on the planes. So for each planes, we can have a different colorization. This is quite useful in case you want to detect some point in the middle, in the cross of different planes. Confidence is based on the points quality. We will see together also right now. Okay, so the point cloud is already colorized using the single colors. Then intensity is a black and white visualization. Intensity colored is based on intensity, so on the properties of the scanning data, plus also the colors of the scans. True color was the, like I told you, is the colorization from the laser scanning. Okay, for this part for this rendering mode, we will calculate all the scans, all the rendering for all the scans. In the meanwhile, if you have any question, you can also write me on the GoToWebinars chat, and I will reply during the webinar or at the end of the presentation. Okay, it takes time because it's based on all the scans, and now it's also how to save it the project. But I can also show you how to find the different information about the point clouds data. So from properties, point clouds name, if it's visible or not, if we can display the scan center, so basically the orange icon, which means so the center of the scan, so the central position of the scan, so where it was acquired. Positioning, so right now we have no, is not registered, so you cannot find the exactly position. So the status of the scanner right now is unregistered, but we will register it soon. Point acquired from the current scan. And this is other information, so where you can find the file. If we use also the grid rule, so this is specific for from the software teams. So let's save the project and we'll move forward with the presentation. Okay, so here we are, is loading the data. So as you can see, intensity plus the color of the scan. Then true color, it means that we use the point clouds colorization by elevation, by the instance, as I already told you, by is a relative colorization, and then the other two we will see during the registration. Then other tools that we can use from the cloud menu, we can add, for example, an external panoramas in case during the point clouds acquisition, we will also measure some 360-degree images that we can import in Fusion and also use to recolorize the point clouds. Panorama is a special view from the center of the scan position. Bubble view, in case you will import also the panorama, so the external images, and of course orientate and adjust the images on the point clouds data. You can also see the exactly center, the panorama view, but from the image position, from the central image, 360-degree image position. Then some other tools dedicated to the editing of the point clouds, so delete point, cut points, and maybe copy in the new point clouds, copy points, and merge points. So these tools are the tools dedicated to the editing of the point clouds, plus also the filters. So for example, we can use one of the scans or all the scans and perform some filters. Those filters are the filters that you can find also in the main menu of when you will import point clouds data. So distance filters. So if you want to reduce the filters based on the filters, intensity filters. So properties of the point clouds. If you want to remove some isolated points, so the sparse point that maybe you can acquire during the scans, and also applying some advanced quality filters. This is another calculation that allows to reduce some noise on the point clouds. Then, in case some scans are already registered, or if you already perform some adjustment, you can always execute a pre-processing calculation and restore the point clouds with the exactly properties on the exactly beginning properties. So the properties from the original point clouds. Then other tools from the clouds menu dedicated to the creation of the quick surfaces. So this is based on a single point clouds. Terrain, that is quite useful to create a terrain mesh for from the point clouds. 3D mesh, so in that case we have a limitation in the calculation, so 100,000 points maximum that we can use to create this mesh. And last option, surface distance analysis. What we can do with this specific tool, we can basically, for example, import a 3D project that can be an AFC file, so a BM file, overlap and register also the scanning data, overlap and register, also align the BM file, the BM project on the topographic data or on the scanning data, and then using these tools, we can compare the 3D model with the point clouds. So basically, we can create a report, we can create a new point clouds from which we can understand the distance between the 3D project and the reality, so the point clouds data. Now we will move directly to the target registration. So from cloud menu, we can open targets. Okay, is on my second screen. I need to switch the visualization. Okay, here we are. Second screen. Okay. So let's move the GoToWebinar menu on the other side. Okay, do you know the exactly center of this scan? I can directly say no, because I didn't measure with the TPS or GNSS data. Let's start from the first scan. So for all the scan, we didn't measure the exactly center, so we can directly select no. We can change the visualization from 3D, 3D-free, or panorama. And we can also change the visualization mode, the rendering mode. So for example, normals, we can use these tools in case you want to automatically detect, for example, points in the intersection of different planes, or confidence if you want to understand the quality of the point clouds with a different rendering visualization according to the points quality. So in that case, for the registration, the best rendering tools that we can use are true colors, because we can easily understand the position of the targets inside the scanning area. Like for example, this is one of the targets that we'll use, or intensive color. So in that case, with this visualization, we can easily detect the target's position. So this is targets number 1. So I can also show you on the how to do step-to-step guide the points that we'll use, also with a preview on the target's position. And basically, we need only to select the center of the targets. Not from photography point, but we can select reference point. And this is the target TS1. Okay, here we are. Then we can rotate the visualization and select another targets. We can also zoom in inside the visualization. As you can see there, we already have some notification in the control points table, from which we can understand if the points are selected in the right way, so with a good accuracy inside the scanner data, scanner visualization. And this is the TS8. Okay, I can rotate the scan using the 3D view, just to check if the points are selected with the best accuracy. In case one of the point is not correctly selected, we can of course visualize it, because we will see a red label in the topographic, in the point clouds visualization. And basically we can select from the list, right click with the mouse, delete control points, so single control points, or delete all control points. So this was the TS4. Okay, now all the points are selected correctly. We can also recheck again all the points to minimize this error, or directly accept this registration. Now the software automatically will move to the another scan, another unregistered scan. No, we don't know the exactly center of the scan. We can directly move to the different rendering visualization, panorama view, and here we can find also the other targets. Targets number 2, this was the target number 1, but of course we cannot correctly visualize from this position. But we can directly select the targets number 2. Again, if you want to be sure that you are acquiring the point with the best position, we can also orbit in 3D, and this is the TS2. The first point, the label on the first point is always red. You need to select the minimum 2 points in order to have some information the control points table. And again, we can orbit and select at different points. So as you can see there, we have already the information, the control points table, and then again, orbit to select the third point. Okay. The other points that we can use is the points number, again, number 8. So this point. And accept the registration after acquired 3 points. As you can see, it's quite easy also to recognize the point using different rendering view, and also to check if the points are selected in the right way. In case, you can also select more than 3 points and select or deselect one of the points that you don't want to use. Yes, okay. No. Okay, again, this is the targets number 2, TS2. Okay, here we are. So then this should be the targets number 3. We measure it in a sequential mode. Target number 4, so we can also select more than 3 targets. Okay, this is not the best position, but we can also check the best one. Yes, okay. Here we are. Rotate inside the area. Measured, for example, the TS5. TS6. The best will be to use minimum 3 targets in a different position, in a different triangular position in 3D, not only in a horizontal view. And this should be the targets number 9. Let's check. Yeah. So here we have also a pop-up that the point TS6 has some errors, so we can directly deselect and use only the other targets, for example, so TS3. Upset registration, yes. So in that case, these 2 targets will be not used for registration. Okay, panorama view. Okay. So target 3, TS3. 4, 5, 6. 7. And also, this is the targets number TS9. Okay, let's check together the targets with the lowest accuracy, with the worst accuracy. So, for example, TS7. Yes, we didn't select it correctly. We can delete it and select again. Okay. And for example, TS3. We can directly unselect and accept the registration. Yes, you want to accept the registration, and then we can move forward with other scans. So as you can see, it's quite easy also to detect targets, assign to the different target position, and register the scan using the targets registration methods. Okay, so again we can rotate. This is the target number 1, close to the barbecue area. TS1, TS2, TS3, TS6. Let's check together if we have some other targets. Yes, we can also use these targets. So let's check it. Yes. TS7. Yeah, the position of these targets is correct. And TS9, so panorama. So TS9 is close to our position. Okay, the worst accuracy is there. Yes, this is not correct. Here we are. So in that case, we used 4 targets. Yes, I want to accept this registration. No, I don't know the exactly position. Intensity color plus also panorama view. And now we have some other targets that we can use from this position. So for example, this is the targets 12. Okay. 13, 14. Let's select also the target 13. This is the target measured with a drone. So this is the TD8. Here we are. Then panorama view, we will see if we have another targets. No, that's okay. Okay, let's select the worst position. zoom in, rotate in 3D, and select it again. Okay. Okay, all the label green means that all the points has a good accuracy. Upset. Let's use the target registration also for this point clouds. Then we will move to the cloud-to-cloud registration. Okay, so here we have other targets that we can use. So this is the TS25. Then we can use the TS, so total station 11. And then this is the 23. Okay, here we don't have the best accuracy, so we can check in 3D. Yes. Unselect the target and select it again. Here we are. Accept registration. Now I don't want to use this count, so I can close the target registration. Sorry, now I'm in the second screen. I need to share the other screen. Okay, so we can activate all the point clouds and check together the position. So now we are loading all the scans. Okay, we can also use the 2D or 3D visualization. You can quickly check that everything is okay, is fine. Yes, okay. Cloud-to-cloud registration. Okay, and now we can select on the left side the reference scan. So for example, the scan number 7, and on the right side the scans that we need to align, so the unregistered scan. So if you tap here, you can see that we have no other scans in the list because all the other scans are already registered. So we can move to panorama view. We can use also the tree view. Intensity is the best solution, and here we have also some other tools: targets and go, detect targets, and settings. In that case, the targets that you can use and you can automatically detect from the software, from the point clouds, is the targets that you can find in the XPath Office Fusion data folder. So let me open the folder and I will quickly show you how you can find this target. Okay, C folder, since I register in C. Program file XPath Office Fusion targets. So automatically, once we install the software, this application will automatically come in the XPath Office Fusion folder. And here we have targets for the scans in A4 formats, So basically, this is the targets that the software can automatically recognize. The QR code automatically redirect to the GeoMax website. And then the X photo target, so the target that you can use for the photogrammetry. So for X photo, 50 per 50 centimeters targets or A4 formats. So in that case, since we are not using these targets, we can directly select manually the targets from the area. Or for example, we can use some common points to automatically detect the position. So for example, these targets are in common between the two scans. Also these targets. So in that case, we can click directly on the point. This is the common points between the two scans. Then of course, closer is the target, best will be the resolution, then the point size, point grid close to these targets. Yes, as you can see, this is the same visualization, but from two different point of view. Panorama. Let's see if we have enough accuracy here. Okay, third points. Some in common also here. Yes, here we are. Could be that targets. Then, so this is the pre-alignment using 3 points. So the label close to the points is green. So maybe we have a good accuracy. We can also, of course, use also some tools to check it. You can, for example, change the rendering mode using 2 different colors and adjust, for example, using the slides, visualize also the difference between the 2 planes. So it's quite good. And then 2 different refinement tools. Global adjustment, that will use also the entire geometry of the 2-point clouds. Keep adjustment by point. So for using the points, the 3 points that we already selected. Refine. So now the software will recalculate the position and try to understand also something more for the point clouds refinement. So 5 millimeters is the residual error for this specific alignment. Of course, you can also select back and use some other points, or you can accept the registration. Yes, I want to register scan number 8. No other scans to register, so we can close and move back here. So to the main Xpart Office Fusion menu. So now we are loading all the scans together, and we will check if we have all the scans in the correct position. Yes, of course. Here we are. We can change the visualization to true colors to better understand also the orientation. And here we are. So this is the hotel garden, so between the pool area, the court, the golf court, and the hotel area. So what we can do more on Fusion regarding also the point clouds data. For example, we can draw directly the hotel windows of the door, so we can use the drawing functionality using also some specific snap dedicated to point clouds. So, but just to start drawing on this side, so on this building facade, we can also hide part of the data that maybe we don't need. For example, we can select and deselect the surveys to hide also the target point, the reference point. From view menu, we can select, for example, clip. Here we have three different methods to hide the point clouds or hide, for example, part of the data from the graphic view, from top, bottom, or vertical. If I select vertical, I need to select, the best will be from 2D view with a simple selection on the graphic view. So in that case, we can hide part of the data. I will reset it. And if I select again vertical, I will hide part of the data, but on the other side. I can save it. For example, I can select as name facade. And now if I move back to the 3D view, we will see that we can only visualize the data that was measured on the facade. In order to reactivate the other data, I need to move to the project manager, clipping plane, and deselect facade. So the last clips that we already created. I just want to select one more option. So for draw menu, we can select also projection plane. This is quite useful functionality in case you want to draw on the point clouds data. So using this functionality, we can select a plane but according to three different points, horizontal plane or vertical plane. What does it mean? It means that, for example, we want to draw on this specific plane. So we want to project all the point or to a specific plane. So in that case, I will use one point of the facade, one point on the other side of the facade. And if I move on 3D, you can see that we created the vertical plane according to the 2 points on the facade, and all the points that now, or the drawing points that now we will directly create and selected, even if are selected in 3D, we will project it automatically to this specific plane. So save, and we can call it facade plane. Now we will use the drawing functionality with two different methods. If I select one of the drawing functionality with this icon already activated, so create points, automatically the software will create also a points in the survey points list, and all the graphical elements will be survey elements, so survey drawing. Instead, if we deselect this option, all the drawing will come without the points, but of course with the vertices, but directly in the drawings list as a drawing entities. So selecting polygons, what we can do, we can directly zoom in inside the area. We can also select the snap here from the snap tools or select settings. And here we have general snap and grid, object snap. So in case also, if you want also to draw on a facade, we will see in the next webinar. Solid orthophotos that is specific for X photo orthophotos that you can create from the aerial photogrammetry, and point clouds snap functionality. So this is the snaps that you can, the point selection that you can select new radius, but also smart and magnifier, that is a sort of zoom lens visualization in the point clouds in the graphic view area. So I can generally select one point from the point clouds, and automatically the software will show me a zoom visualization in the point clouds. And now I need only to select the point. Again, if I select the point clouds, I can zoom in and select the 4 vertices of this specific window. Okay, here we are. With a right click on the mouse button, we can also add some more functionality, or for example, close the polyline. So, and now if I switch off the point clouds, this specific windows is automatically projected to the 2D plane, so to 2D vertical plane. So it means that the result, if we export this file, will be automatically in 2D, but of course vertical. Then, of course, what we can do more, we can select, for example, this polygon, editing functionality, so editing menu, and we can copy. Specify base point, I can select one of the vertices, and then I can select another points in the point clouds. That could be, for example, one of the vertices of the another window. Select the vertex, and automatically we will create another points. So the second polyline is already created. Again, we can do the same for the windows of the other plane, other floor, and automatically also this polygon will come in the exactly position. As you can see, it's quite easy also to copy and paste the specific elements in the correct position. Okay, stop command, hide the point clouds, and automatically we already drew some windows according to this specific facade. So I can select, for example, projection plane, known to don't select this plane, so to hide this functionality, and automatically I consider that I have already the drawing, the point clouds elements, and what I can do more, I can deselect the facade visualization, and I will use another functionality dedicated to the point clouds. So from view, clipbox, not clip, but clipbox, and here we have 3 different tools that we can use to create a sort of cube visualization. Extend clipbox will include all the elements, drawing elements also from the graphic view. Horizontal clipbox, we can select a specific plane. Vertical clipbox, for example, to create a clipbox according to the specific facade. So if you want to select another functionality from the Smart Magnifier, on the top left side, we have also the automatic plane recognition. What does it mean? It means that they can easily select points on the point clouds, and with this specific functionality, maybe a part of the point clouds close to this planes intersection is hidden. I can select a point on one of the two facades and automatically will project it in the plane intersection. Okay, another points in the other side of the building facade, again with the Smart Magnifier tool. In that case, I don't have enough plane to recognize it, but I can select a point here. So, and this is a clip box. How can use this clip box? First of all, let me activate the properties. I will select also the clip box. I can drag the clip box just to include all the elements, for example, for this building facade. Here also you can find the width, the height, also less is better because the height of the facade is less than 20 meters, and the thickness of the clip box. Okay, let me add some more points. Well, so now everything is included in this specific box can be automatically used. Okay, let me move, drag the position, can be automatically used to create an orthophotos. For example, now the clip box is already selected, imaging menu, orthophotos. So these specific tools are related to the photogrammetry process. Instead, from orthophotos generate, we can enter the name of the orthophotos. Of course, we can also select a different name and select the method to create the orthophotos. From top view, basically is the 2D view, clip box, or cross section. If I select clip box, I can select, of course, the clip box and then one of the facade that I want to use. Then pixel size. What does it mean? It means that, for example, if you use general parameters, so the default parameters that is 2 centimeters, each point of the point clouds will be converted as a pixel to the images using a size of the pixel about 2 centimeters. If we want to increase the quality of the orthophotos, we need to decrease this value. So basically, the pixel will be close to, for example, 1 millimeter, 5 millimeters, to ensure that we will have the best result also for the orthophotos creation. And then, of course, the orthophotos can be exported with the other tools and used in a different software. Okay, it's generating the orthophotos, or export, for example, to share with the customers. Okay, orthophoto. Let's switch off the point clouds, and this is the orthophotos. Again, the best resolution for the orthophotos will have the best orthophotos resolution, decreasing this value. Okay, so let's switch off the clip box. As you can see, it's planimetric view. I can also hide the orthophotos, and then I want to quickly check the size, the area about this window. I can move to home area, 3D area in that case, and I need to select the 4 vertices. Right click, close, 2.5 meter. I can also store an annotation if I want, or I can use another tools to automatically create a report. Output, object report. This is specific to the object. Then I can select all the windows, enter, report. Using these tools, we can automatically create a report according to the specific drawing. Sorry, this Windows was opened in my second screen. So here we are. This is the report manager. We already seen this functionality in the previous webinar, but we'll have also the opportunity to focus on these tools in the next webinars. And basically, from the object reports, we have 2 different possibilities: create a simple report or a report with image. Okay, here we are. So according to the object that we already selected, you can find here the coordinates of the points, the length, 2D length, 3D length, but also the 2D area and 3D area. Or we can create a report with the image. Okay, of course, if you select a polyline, you can create a report for a polyline. Instead, if you create a single line, we'll create a report according to each lines that you already create. Okay, then what we can do more, we can of course reactivate all the topographic data plus also the drawing data, orthophotos, and from file we can, for example, export this information in a single WGDXF file. So drawing format, create a WGDXF file for AutoCAD, or In case you want to export only the orthophotos, you can select orthophotos, and in that case, you can export a single orthophotos or several orthophotos in the same file or in the different file. Export. Here we can select the path, but also the data formats, so DWG or DXF. DWG DXF version, if you want to export in 3D with the same AutoCAD color palette. So we are currently using the same color palette, so you can directly also use this export. If you want to export the points, and here we have different tools to export also the points, or if you want to export directly into 365 points. So in that case, you can also copy directly to all this data to the 365 storage area. And what we can export in this specific file, survey, drawing, and orthophotos, all together in the same file. So we don't need to create a separate file for the survey drawing or for the classical drawing or for the orthophotos. Everything will come in the same DWG or DXF file format. And if we move back to the project manager, here we have also the export with the direct link to the DWG, but also to the orthophotos images. You can open it or open the file path to redirect to the export folder, or export, create 3D PDF. Export. Again, we can select the same folder, or we can change the folder path. Paper size, resolution. Okay, this is also for the margins. And now we are exporting also the 3D PDF. So in that case, what can I suggest to you is to open the PDF, the 3D PDF with the Acrobat 3D reader, just because with the latest release of this application, you can also have some other tools. Okay, Adobe Acrobat Reader DC. You can have some other tools to directly measure into the 3D PDF to rotate and orbit also the image that you already exported, so the data that you already exported. And this is quite useful in case you want to share this data directly with someone which is not so, let me say, an advanced user for point clouds data. Okay, let's select trust to this document always. Now is recalculating, yes. Okay. And now is loading all the data. Yes. And you can zoom in, zoom out. Right click on the mouse to select some other tools. For example, rotate, spin, pan, zoom, work, but also 3D measure tools to directly measure on the 3D PDF. Then another tools that we can use, for example, to share the point clouds with someone else. Of course, let me activate the point clouds. Is the export point clouds, publish point clouds. How we can use these tools? These tools can be done automatically. For example, select tool or select only one scan. Can be installed from someone else without using any XPath Office Fusion license, just to visualize the point clouds data. Okay, browse folder is exactly the same. We can export to OneDrive, Google Drive, or as a FPT. Scan name, publish. So in that case, we can share this file with a customer, and he can directly open it and measure down the point clouds. Instead, we can use the 3D PDF and directly measure in all the raster information directly from the 3D PDF. Publication in progress. If you have any question, please write me on GoToWebinar chat, or you can also use our Academy email, which is the, let me show you, because we have here in our presentation. Okay. academy@geomax-positioning.com. So it's publishing the point clouds. In the meanwhile, I can also show you some strengths about the XScan models. So import different point clouds format. So we can import data directly from the BLK360 or the fireless scanner. We can import the FLS data format, so the raw format from the fireless scanner. Different format, for example, A57 last format, PTX, PTS from Leica, also the B2G file, point clouds as TXT file, manual registration, so cloud to cloud and targets that we already seen, automatic registration plus the bundle adjustment to refine the pre-registration, dedicated drawing tools, for example, the smart and magnifier and the planes detection, far surfaces and mesh creation for the point clouds, external panorama images that you can create or you can import directly in Fusion to recolorize also the point clouds, orthophotos creation plus also the plotting, so you can export directly the format, the file, and the output created using different format file, or you can directly plot what you can directly see on the graphic view using our plotting functionality from the output menu. Again, here from the GeoMax website, you will have the access to the video tutorials from which you can, according of course to the different topics, you can visualize all the tools dedicated to the specific topics. Instead, from the XPAD 365 platform, you will have different video tutorials, different PDF tutorials, with also the dataset used from these specific tutorials. Okay, it's already, it's again publishing it. Okay, what software? We have a question. What software you recommend us to visualize that publication? So with the published point clouds, automatically you will find in the export folder a software. So let me say a Fusion Lighter version that the customer can install and automatically visualize our point clouds. Instead, if you have, for example, other point clouds that you want to share with the customer, you can use the main format file for the point clouds, which are the A57 loss format that you can generally open it in, let me say, all the main CAD software that can also manage the point clouds from AutoCAD to Revit, Edifeatures. So all the other software that can manage also the point clouds and that can be at disposal in the market. We have also another question where I can find this data set. So the data set can be directly found there. So from the XPAD, let me come back to the initial part of the presentation. On the 365 platform, your resources, virtual training academy, and here you can also use the data integration bootcamp tag to automatically find right now the Xtopo. At the end of the day, will also be at disposal the XScan, and then from the starting from the other webinar, the Xphoto, plus also the last webinars on which we will summarize all these tools. We will basically create a surface comparison between the dataset measured by drone and the dataset measured by GNSS receiver in the golf court. We will see together also how we can import an EFC file, edit also, create some section from the EFC file, create also some automatic some points, align the EFC file to the specific points measured from point clouds or TPS point, and also how to create some other outputs that maybe you will need or customer can use in case you need to create some other report. So now it's still publishing. Sorry, I have several application opened right now, so my laptop is quite stressed at that moment. But in case you need some other information, please write me or use the academy@geomax-positioning.com email if you have some suggestion or if you have any question. So thanks for the participation to the second webinar. Let's see you in the next one. Okay, it's published. Okay, you can directly open it in the okay, Bootcamp published. Just let me show you these tools. Is an internal tools to visualize the point clouds. Okay, from which we can visualize. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can walk, or you can, for example, measure. Okay. Again, if you have any question, please use our email and we'll be at disposal to reply to all your questions. Thanks again for the participation and I wish you a nice day. Thank you.